Hello, hello. Welcome to It's a Super Scary Saturday Sleepover. And this is extra scary because it's right before Easter. Oh, I'm so scared because,
Makes it scarier.
yeah, because somebody who's unalive is going to rise up like a zombie. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to put Oreo Jr. back there where it's safe. And we're going to get into our story tonight from, of course, still more Tales for the Midnight Hour by J.B Stamper. And tonight's tale is Skin and Bones. Like they ain't been eaten. Okay. It was 100 years ago on an autumn night that Jacob Cooper drew his horses and buggy up to the old inn at twilight. This is like the interesting thing that happened at Perfect Acres Inc. They had a horse and carriage too. As Jacob tied his horse to the hitching post by the side of the inn, he turned back to look at the western sky. It was purplish red from the setting sun and splotched with angry black clouds. Get in there or get your umbrella, sir. It's about to rain. A sharp wind had sprung up and was cutting through the Jacob's coat and chilling him to the bone. Jacob hurried towards the door with the sign hanging over it that read, "The Red Fox Inn." As he pushed the door open, he felt a rush of warm air and the smell of cooked food. Jacob walked in, meeting the stares of the three men who sat at the table eating and drinking. A red cheeked man stood behind the bar, polishing its shiny mahogany surface. "Evening," Jacob said, sitting down at the table. "I like some of that hot roast beef." Let me tell y'all where I had some hot roast beef and it was good. It wasn't roast beef, it was just beef.
Italian.
Yeah, Italian beef. Portillo's. That shit was good. Just putting it out there. Try if y'all can find one, if it one's near y'all, try it if you haven't. It's really good. Anyway, and whatever you have to go with it, he said to the man behind the bar. "You look half frozen," the man said in a friendly way, and he turned to go into the kitchen to get Jacob's food. "Cold out there," one of the men at the table said. Jacob nodded his head and rubbed his hands together. "Good thing you're at a warm, safe inn," another man said. "I wouldn't want to travel hereabouts on such a night." "I just stopped for food," Jacob explained as the rosy cheeked man brought out his food from the kitchen. "I have to travel 10 miles yet tonight. My friend in Platkill is expecting me." Oh, honey, he wouldn't see me till the next day because it's about to rain. And I made a sugar, darling. I melt in the rain. Jacob noticed that the four men had fallen silent and were looking at each other uneasily. "You better tell him, Joe," one of the men at the table said to the rosy cheeked man. Joe leaned on the bar and cleared his throat. Clearly, I'm Joe, y'all. I'm Joe. And looked at Jacob. "Listen, young man, you be a fool to travel on to Platkill on a night like this. It's a stretch of empty country with nothing but jagged boulders and thick forests on both sides of the road." "My horses are good," Jacob said, "and my buggy is in good repair." He stopped and laughed. "I'm not afraid of driving through thick woods at night. My friend is expecting me tonight. He would be worried if I didn't arrive. Honey, ain't nothing he gonna do about it but wait for you to come the next day. So why don't you stay at this inn? They trying to warn you." There was another scratch of silence as Jacob ate more of his food. "Go on, Joe, tell him," one of the men urged. "Now listen to me, young man," Joe began again. "This is a strange country around here. It's wild and untamed. Not like where I suspect you from. City life can be wild too," Jacob said with a smile. "Oh, so you in the sticks, sir, and you telling these people about their area. This is where we go wrong every time. How you gonna tell the locals about their own stuff? Tell them about Skin and Bones, Joe," one of the men said. "It's not the rocks and the trees I'm trying to warn you about," Joe went on. "It's a creature we call Skin and Bones. On nights like this, she likes to trick travelers into giving her a ride. Then they're found the next morning, unalived. Okay, he's still like, I gotta go get to my friend. Sir, is your friend gonna save you from skinny bones? Okay. She sounds like she hungry. Jacob looked from one serious face to another in the room. Then he bursted out laughing. You take me for a fool, he said. I'm not going to be scared by any ghost story. Okay, so we love your bravery. But skinning ghosts isn't a ghost, Joe said in a deadly serious voice. She's just skin and bones, almost a skeleton. Is she a supermodel from the 90s?
Maybe.
Because them chicks were, as they say, H chic. And the H stands for heroin, which is skin and bones. Huh? Okay. Okay, wait, sorry. I lost my spot. And when she gets her sharp, bony hands around your neck, Jacob threw down the napkin and pushed back his chair. I finished my meal and now I'll be off. Your story was good entertainment. I'll keep it in mind on my journey. Okay, sir, you ain't gonna keep much in mind, sir, because they told you this little skinny chick gonna come and get you. But okay, she might be a crackhead. We don't know. Joe shrugged and took the money Jacob paid him for the meal. Then, as Jacob climbed out the door or walked out the door, he called after him, "Good luck, and don't go picking up anybody asking you for a ride." The wind hit Jacob with a blast as he hurried to his buggy. He unhitched the horse and climbed up on the seat. He pulled up the hood as high as it could go to give him shelter from the icy air. So you should have just stayed up in there. Then he slapped the reins against the horse's back and set off down the road to Platkill. The late night had faded from the last light had faded from the sky, but a full moon lit the road as it snaked through the hills and woods of the ragged landscape. Jacob hummed himself a song to keep his spirits up. Oh yeah, they didn't have radios in horses and buggies.
No.
Okay, y'all. What song would y'all be singing to y'allself if y'all had to travel 10 miles by horse and buggy? Put it in the comment section. Scott, what would you be singing?
I don't know. I don't know what's, because if I was doing that, I'd have to look back in that time. So I'll be singing, I'm working on the railroad.
I'll be singing Beyonce, period. Okay. The cold air was beginning to numb his skin, and his arms were growing tired of holding the horse's reins, because you should have stayed your ass at the end, but okay. And for all of his bragging at the end, he didn't like being out on this deserted road alone at night. The woods around him were a dense mixture of shadowy fir trees and giant oaks whose bare branches had been stripped of leaves by the wind. Every so often, the buggy would pass an outcrop of rocks that gleamed white and ghostly in the moonlight. Ooh, girl, it's scary. Jacob's mind was drifting to thoughts of his friend's warm fireside, or you could have just stayed in the hotel, but okay. When suddenly his horse let out a strange nickering sound. "Ah!" That's what horses. "Ah!" Mm-hmm. He looked around him in alarm and then saw what upset the horses. A figure was standing by the roadside ahead of him. She had a dark shawl over her head and was reaching out a white arm towards him. "Hey, pick me up." The moon was shining on her face, and Jacob could see that it was an older woman beckoning to him. Are you looking? Mm-hmm. Come pick me up. The story that the man at the end had told him raced through his mind. His buggy came closer and closer to the woman, but he didn't pull the reins on the horse. He passed by her and saw the look of disappointment on her tired old face. Jacob thought about turning around or turning back to give the woman help, but something inside him whispered he should go on. Jacob slapped the reins angrily against the horse's back and made them race down the road. He felt like a fool, but soon he would reach Platkill and be able to forget all about his journey. The horses trotted down the lonely road while Jacob shivered on the buggy seat. Then he felt a tension in the reins. The two horses reared back and pranced around the road, nervous and skittish. It took all of Jacob's strength to get them back under control. When they were calm again, he sat on the buggy seat, his heart pounded fast, and caught his breath. He then saw the slight figure standing by the side of the road. In the moonlight, he could see that she was a young woman with long, reddish gold hair. She was clenching her gold cape around her and looking at him with imploring eyes. Sir, she said, I need a ride to Platt's Kill. I was thrown off my horse over 2 hours ago, and I am cold and tired. You're the first person who has come along to help. Can I please have a ride in your carriage? Jacob saw the young woman's face as she walked closer. He had seldom seen a woman so lovely, and her voice was soft and refined. Oh, girl, ooh, she a looker, honey. She a model from the 90s. It would be my pleasure to take you to Platskill, he said, scratching his hand to help her into the buggy seat. I'm headed there myself tonight to visit an old friend. Baby, you gonna visit an old friend, and that old friend name is God. Up there, baby. Okay, that's gonna be your Platskill. That's where you're going, but okay. You're very kind, the young woman said. I would have frozen in another hour on a night like this. Mm-hmm. Jacob pulled his eyes away from her beautiful face that was so close to his. Now, okay, she was up in there like, give me a kiss, baby. Come on, give me a ride and a kiss. Yes. She seemed shy and reserved. He realized that she might be frightened of him, a stranger who had picked her up on a lonely road. So you ain't pick up that old woman, but you picked up the cute, hot thing. Priorities. For a long while, they traveled on in silence. Every so often, Jacob would glance over at her face. Several times she smiled back at him, her eyes glowing in the moonlight. But then he noticed that her face had set into a hardened expression that didn't change when their eyes met. And even later, when he looked at her, Jacob thought she did not look as beautiful as she first had. Girl, did she take her makeup off? She had you tricked by Sephora, huh? Jacob turned his eyes into the narrow, dark road in front of him and smiled. Perhaps he had just imagined she was so beautiful standing alone in the deserted road in the moonlight. He glanced over once more and felt the shock go through his body. What's that shock, sir? The woman's face no longer looked young. Her skin had lines in it, and her hair looked dull and gray, not reddish gold. Girl, she took all that makeup off. In the moonlight. Jacob put the reins in one hand and rubbed his eyes with the other. I would have tried whipping her with the damn reins. Like, get out, get out, get out. I thought you were somebody who you want. He suddenly felt confusion and exhaustion. He glanced over to see the woman watching him closely. Her dark eyes seemed to be sunken in their sockets. I told you she was a crackhead. And her cheekbones stuck out of her thin face. Jacob shuddered and turned his eyes back to the road. Something was nagging at the back of his mind and making him frightened and nervous. I wonder what that could be. He clenched his teeth and fixed his eyes on the road ahead. According to his calculations, he should be in Platskill in less than 15 minutes. He would be glad to reach his friend's house and be out of this strange country. I told you where your friend gonna be, baby. It's gonna be in heaven. Our Father who art in heaven, baby. In a flash, a prickling feeling started at the back of his neck. It traveled down his spine and spread through his body. He willed his eyes to stay on the road, but he could stand it no longer. He turned and looked at the woman. A skeleton sat on the carriage seat beside him. Oh, Lord, grinning a horrible smile. Jacob knew it was skin and bones. Sir, you should have picked that, either stayed at the hotel or picked up that older lady. But we see where your head is, sir. Both of them. He gripped the reins. Oh, what were you going to say?
Companionship.
Oh, he going to get it with Jesus. Okay, period. Happy Easter. You about to go see Jesus personally, sir. Anyway. Jacob knew it was Skin and Bones. He gripped the reins in terror and then saw the skeleton's bony hands reach out from under her cape and reach for his neck. Uh-oh, girl, here they come. Jacob twisted away from Skin and Bones' arm, lunged as Skin and Bones' arm lunged for him and clawed at his clothing. Oh, she might be trying to get you something, sir, for that ride. You don't know. You ain't asked. He let the reins drop and put his arms up to protect his neck. The bony arms were clenching at him now, and he could barely struggle against their deadly grip. The horses pranced and galloped wildly down the road. Jacob felt the sharp, bony fingers closing around his neck. He felt his breath coming in short, desperate gasps. Skin and Bones had her face pressed up against his. She did it the first time. You liked it the first time. What's wrong with it now, sir? Because she ain't got no makeup on. Jacob pulled together all the life he had left in his body. With a burst of strength, he tore away the hands from his neck. Skin and Bones reeled back, still grinning her horrible grin. Once again, she lunged for that throat. Jacob caught her bony wrist in his hands. He wrenched her out of her seat and threw her over the side of the buggy. With a blood-crawling scream, ah! Oh. That was blood curling right there. Blood is curling. Skin and Bones fell into the road. So you just gonna desert her because she ain't cute no more? Because she ain't got her makeup on? Jacob slumped down back in the buggy, half conscious, and let the horses run down the road to Platskill. Jacob Cooper, is that you? A voice said. Jacob opened his eyes to see his friend looking at him with worried eyes. Jacob, what's the matter? His friend asked. The horses brought you here, but you were unconscious. Are you sick? Skin and Bones, Jacob mumbled. What nonsense are you talking? His friend exclaimed. Skin and Bones, Jacob repeated. She tried to unalive me. Did you hear that superstitious old story? His friend asked, pulling him to the ground. The local people tell that to frighten travelers. Jacob rubbed his eyes and looked at the moonlight. Had it all been just a dream? Then he looked at his friend and saw the expression of horror on his face. Jacob followed his friend's eyes to the side of the buggy. Oh my God. There, dangling from the hook that had caught it as she fell, was the white, bony hand of Skin and Bones. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus. She should have just picked up the old lady or stayed at the end. And they all lived happily ever after. Skin and Bones, too. She went and got her, a prosthetic arm so she could keep up her strangling, period. Okay, guys, that's the end of the book. And you know how we end our books here, or the end of the story, I should say. And you know how we end our stories here. What did you guys learn from this story? Put it in the comment section. Scott, what did you learn?
Yeah, you gotta listen to the locals. Up in the Catskills and the Hudson Valley, lots of scary things happen.
Period. Just all periods there. The lesson I learned is kind of the same as Scott. Like, listen to the locals. The locals gonna know it better than you. So when you don't listen to them, you get what you get, honey. And Jacob got what he got. He got scared. Okay, he got a free hand lashed onto his horse and buggy. That's about all he got. Okay, thinking he was gonna get something else, some nook, but that's not what happened. So period. Do better, Jacob. Okay, well, with that, did you have anything else?
No, that was all I had.
Okay, well, let's get it. So we're going to bid you guys adieu and end this live, but we'll be back. We got to do the interesting thing that happened at Perfect Acres Inc. But we're going to end this here. So as always, we definitely love having you guys hanging with us, and we hope you guys enjoyed hanging with us. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, check out some other videos, live, shorts, all that fun stuff. And with that, we're going to bid you guys adieu. So from wherever we are, even if we rolling 100 years ago, down in the woods where we ain't supposed to be, to wherever you are. Peace, love, and happiness. We'll see you in like, I don't know, give me like 30 minutes. Okay, bye, y'all.